Rogers New Technology High School began operating in fall 2013 with the intent to provide choice to students and their families. Rogers New Technology High School, which is part of the National New Tech Network, focuses on an instructional model built on student engagement, project-based learning in every classroom, a culture that values and utilizes student voice, and the ubiquitous use of technology as a creation tool.
To move back to Arkansas to be with my family, and I found Rogers New Tech, which is a project-based learning school, and it showed me a whole new philosophy of teaching. I'm finding that our students still meet all of the IB learner profile traits like inquirer, communicator, well-rounded, risk-taker, all those things that made IB great, but in a more student-driven experience. Which is what I love about it.
Yeah, I was part of the third graduating class of Coppell New Tech High in Dallas, Texas, or outside of Dallas, and it was very new, and so people were unsure about it. The idea was super interesting about having it being student-centered, student-led, trying to get the learners being active participants, not just sit and receive information, but you are creating and you are using that information to make a difference in the world around you.
So we're really passionate in this building about making sure that no one ever feels like they're on an island. And one of the ways that first of all, you see there's like windows in the room, so that helps. But also that we want to make sure there's a transparency between classrooms, both in the things that we're doing well and in the things that we struggle with. Mm-hmm. And so whenever we have our department time, that's an easy spot where we come together and we a lot of times we'll bring projects and we'll say, this is the thing that I'm working on, this is what I hope to accomplish. What do you see wrong with the plan? What do you see good with the plan? We always do I likes and I wonders. Sometimes we'll have facilitators that will put up entry documents or project plans in the lunchroom, and people will make comments on them. Or a lot of times when things are highlighted in the classroom on our Voxers, something that we communicate with each other, people are able to see the good things that other facilitators are doing. And there's a lot of just seeking out feedback and suggestions, and it's really part of the culture of our faculty that we take a lot of pride in.
This school is really built on student voice, student choice. We had to figure out, why do we exist, right? I mean, that's really the important question to answer. And so, our journey has brought us to a point where we feel like Rogers New Technology High School exists to turn 14-year-olds into adults.
Our main purpose for this club was, our slogan was service before self. So basically we are serving to the community as much as we can. And we do this through the Rotary Club, which is kind of like the adult version of what we're doing. And what we do is we collaborate with multiple business owners or small organizations to get some volunteering opportunities and to also try to make projects here at the school so that way we can get our students to be involved in the community.
We like to connect community businesses with learners, with our peers, and try and just the connectivity that we have and interconnectedness.
Well, in student leadership, it's really a great way for students to kind of make the school what we would like it to be. There's different groups in student leadership, as if like for example, I'm in Alpha Shop, which is the school store. We're in charge of selling and producing school merchandise, and my job is I'm an accountant, so I kind of keep track and organize the money. I have never been part of such a big part of the school, because with Alpha Shop we kind of provide volunteer hours for the students, and it's really a great place for us to kind of build that closer bond to our culture and our students.
I've been going to the Boys and Girls Club at the age of 8, and it's really became a second home to me, and I got many role models that I look up to growing up. It took me out of a dark place, and it really opened doors for my future. So I wanted to give back to the Boys and Girls Club and work there with kids to give them that role model they were looking for and that support they need, because not a lot of kids at a young age had that. So I want to be there for them to help them grow as a person and open that career doors like the Boys and Girls Club did for me.
I worked in the business world as a buyer and a store operator, worked internationally, and teaching was always kind of my planned second profession. So I appreciate the school for the fact that we used to hire all of basically the students that they output, right? I mean, Walmart employs 2.2 million people of every particular age. And so in addition to merchandising and operations, I ran their education program. And so it's nice to be able to be a little bit closer to the action, helping the kids both with career choice, but also the skills they need to build to interview well and do their job well. And I really appreciate that about the teaching model and the instructors here, is it goes really well with real life and helps prepare the students for more than just, reading books and regurgitating things on a test.
Internships started about 5 years ago. I think Arbuckle brought it back in coordination with our CTE director. And it really helps the learners focus on what they want to do. It gives them the opportunity to try out multiple positions, whether they're jobs or internships in different career fields, to find out what fits for them. We've had interns think they want to go into something like IT, actually go do it, and decide, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to do that. But Arbuckle and New Tech gives us the flexibility to work with each kid at their level, what they need to go do, because we do with internship work with sophomores through seniors, so everybody's at a different spot.
Some things I really appreciate is obviously the different learning style really allowed you to be flexible and learn more towards how it's catered to your learning. But another thing that I really appreciate is not only the learning style, but also the teachers, because the teachers here really care about you and really want you to succeed. I don't think I've met one teacher that hasn't wanted to push you or help you in some certain way. And so the thing that I really appreciate is the facilitators, because they can either be a little more lenient to make sure that you're not as stressed, or they can push you a little bit harder if you need that challenge.
If you're learning about American history or world history, it doesn't really matter as long as you remember that you're trying to see yourself in the world and see your role in the world. But it's really about engaging kids where they're at and helping them see that their voice matters and that the creativity and that aspect of what we do is the most important. As long as they can demonstrate that they're learning, if they can bring in that creativity, it makes school a lot more fun.
Project-based learning really increases the engagement that you have with kids. You don't have a lot of the behavioral issues that you have at other schools because these kids work with each other every day. They know the other people. And I really enjoy the fact there's more of that mutual respect, and I think the kids feel like they know you better. That as a facilitator, I have a different relationship than I did like at my other teaching jobs that I've had. It's more of a coach and more of an encourager. A lot of it is built in with the way that we grade and teach. We don't just grade academic skills. We have different grading categories. One is knowledge and thinking, and that's what most schools do. But we also teach and grade agency, which is those people skills, meeting benchmarks and dealing with other people, collaboration, which is also people skills, and then oral communication, which is presenting in front of people.
It's kind of a unique class that was developed several years ago, actually in the Rogers School District by Mr. Jeff Belk. He developed this program through some grants years and years ago, and it's really been really contagious around the state since he started it. And a couple things, the students get a half credit of environmental science and a half credit of PE through the one class, which is kind of unique. We take them on a kayaking or canoeing trip. We hike. Along with all that, there's community service. There's tours of recycle facilities, tours just of water treatment facilities. Let students kind of understand exactly what goes on with trash, water, the things like that typically we just kind of take for granted.
This model has succeeded wildly in places. It's failed in places. And one of the important things here is that people believe in what we're doing here, and so they'll let us do it. And This isn't for everybody. I think it's going to be for the majority of people in the future. I think this is how learning is going to happen. But right now they're willing to let us do our thing, and our results, our graduation rate, our test scores, they're showing what people want. I'm here because of kids. The results I have with the kids, that's what I wanted, and we're getting that, and we're getting a level of engagement that's just fabulous.
You are part of the class and you're just not listening to it like a lecture, and it allows you to learn the material, not just memorize it. Something else, this is particular to me. I moved to the United States like 4 years ago, knowing zero English, and I decided to come here because of the foundations, the kind of the scheme they have. Is they put all the students together even if they don't speak English, which I definitely found more beneficial than just having a class that dedicated to teach you English. Because being part of a class, even when you're not fluent with English, it allows you to kind of understand and kind of gain more lexicon, a more complex expression.
Yeah, so I am a part of the DIN student mentoring program here, along with a couple other students in our student leadership program. And we saw through COVID and everything, we saw a divide in our culture. And our culture is like a huge part of our school. And we noticed that people weren't interacting as much, which is like to be expected because masks and social distancing and everything. And so we decided to take ownership and to start this student mentoring program by kind of intermingling students. And so we took all the underclassmen, so freshmen and sophomore students, and we put them into groups. We recruited upperclassmen students to mentor those students, and then we recently did our first mentoring program, and it went really, really well, and we definitely see that divide closing in, and hopefully we see that divide like squash as we keep going on with the program.
I've actually been in the building 6 years. My son was in the original class. He came in as a sophomore because they opened it up to freshmen and sophomores. I was the parent at the time that said, don't go to that school. I wasn't a facilitator or teacher. Said that school's, what are you going to do if they close in 2 years? You got to go back to your home school. So he came over here. He was struggling with time management, doing things that he actually wanted to do versus what the teacher told him to do. And when he came over here, it was a little bit different. The projects allowed him the flexibility to either work ahead or work on something of more interest to him inside of that project. So it really fit him. It helped him out a lot. So he was in the first graduating class. He proved me wrong. So I don't know. It was a neat experience. So at the time, I had a logistics company. I went back to school, got a master's degree, and Dr. Arbuckle was kind enough to hire me. So I was able to start work here then the next year.
The position that Rogers New Tech has, basically giving the students a lot of responsibilities, allows them to mature really fast and kind of makes them more responsible. And it as well prepares them for life, like after either if they're going to college or if they just gonna pursue a career right after high school.
If you're wanting to go this direction, I think the easy entry point is when you come upon a unit. If you're in history or science or whatever it is, and you want to make it, you want to turn things into a PBL type experience, then I think the first question you have to ask is what are our kids interested in and what energizes them.
So we don't have bells. The building is wall-to-wall carpet. There's glass in the walls. Why do we do that? Because that's a professional environment. We want kids to come to this environment and understand that this is their job. This is their profession right now. They are professional learners is what we call them, right? We don't have students. We don't have teachers. We have learners and we have facilitators. Sometimes we talk about having student learners and adult learners. Because when I talk about learners, people say, well, don't you have student? Well, yeah, I mean, that's what they are. It's just it's a different perception. It's how we perceive, right, kiddos. Do we perceive them as students that are here because I'm the teacher and I'm going to give all this information? Or do we see them as learners and I'm the facilitator here to walk alongside and partner with these kiddos and help them develop an understanding of the content, help them develop how to find personal relevance in their work.